Good morning, all you heroes in the making out there, fellow champions, united. Happy Monday. Today is the 18th of March, it looks like. Beautiful sunny day. I'm trying to fit in between all the lights and shadows in my office here. I want to take a quick second to talk about the importance of developing a strong sense of self, of who I am, the ways that I am similar to the people in my life, and the ways that I am different. Because having a strong sense of self is a very important development that one that lies on the path to adulthood, to full expression of your true potential. Now, here's the thing. Around 70 Um, no, it's more like 60% of people uh, do not realize that they do not actually have a strong sense of self. So let me repeat that. I'm using information that I recently learned from research and theories associated with a guy named Robert Keegan, who studies consciousness development, and that is the development of your conscious awareness, your I amness, right? Who am I in the world, in my life? Who is Sean? Who are all of you? Well, what he was talking about is that as children, we start out in this stage of development that he calls the egocentric stage. And if you look at the chart that I put into the Hero Support Network recently, you'll notice, and it's also on the Life Management Coaching Solutions Facebook business page. You can see that just by typing in Life Management Coaching Solutions in the Facebook search field at the top of your Facebook page. Anyways, uh, on that chart that I included, I talk about three different ways that a person can express a caregiving style, right? When I approach or respond to any situation, I will do so in three basic ways. Either I'll approach with a imbalanced caregiving style, meaning which might include my acting as if only I matter and other people and the environment are really not important. At least they're not as important as I am. And what this does, when I act in a way that is imbalanced in my favor, right? Or I have a faulty belief that it's in my favor, right? Because the reality is that treating everyone else like crap and treating the environment like garbage is actually going to come back in the long run and be bad for me, because I need other people and I need the environment. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the environment and other relationships with others which sustain me. That's how I get my needs met. But if I am someone who is unaware or otherwise ignorant of that fact, then I might believe that only I matter. And that's an example of an imbalanced caregiving style. So when it comes to caring about how things come to be the way they are in my life, I really only care in so much as it affects me. Everyone else is my competitor, or my competitors, or my competition, right? And because I think that it's me versus the world, screw all you guys. It's just I'm just going to do what's good for me, and I don't care how it affects you. Now, there's another imbalanced perspective, and that is a person who is overly concerned with the welfare of others at the expense of self. So if the first example was someone who's egocentric, uh, and meaning I-centered, this person could be described as you-centered. In any interaction, they're going to care more about you than themselves. And this is the person who's constantly annoying you by saying, what do you want to go have for dinner? Where do you want to go to the movies? Where do you want to go today? What do you want to do? Like as if they don't have an idea, or it wouldn't matter if they had an idea, and that type of concern is only appreciated by someone who is also imbalanced on the other side. They're self-centered, right? Only someone who is self-centered would be satisfied with someone who never, does anything but serve that other person. And these two kind of caregiving styles are what construct oppressive social environments, environments where one person is on top and the other person is on bottom, right? The master, slave, or the king, servant kind of social experience. And no wonder then that abuse is common, because whenever the person on the bottom might start to come to the top to try to have equality, that person on top is going to try to put them back down, because there's only one. In a competitive environment, there's only one person. There's only room for one person to be in the top first place, right? And of course, I'm not talking about in the sports and stuff. That's where it's totally normal to be competitive. I'm talking about the kind of competition where you don't have good sportsmanship, the kind where you're being abusive and mistreating others. So, anyways, people who are self-centered and who are overly concerned with others, those two different types of caregiving styles, are kind of stuck at the self-centered one is kind of stuck at early childhood development. That's where it would be normal for a child to think of their parents as a means to an end. Daddy, I'm hungry. I want a snack. Okay, here's some raisins. Daddy exists to get me raisins. Whereas an adult, isn't going to see everyone else just as a means to an end if they're fully mature. So, first spot on that developmental ladder is that self-centered stage. Kind of go up a little further, and you've got a person who is um, overly concerned with others, right? And then um, go up a little bit higher, and you have someone who is that balanced caregiving style. I matter, you matter, the environment matters, what we do matters, how we relate matters. And so I'm going to take personal responsibility for acting in ways that facilitate well-being for myself and others. In addition or simultaneously, I'm going to do that while I pursue other goals. While I go get a job, or go to the movies, go out to eat, while I hang out and watch football, I'm also going to be aware of how I'm acting and treating one another with regard, right? With the appropriate regard, meaning we all are in this together. We each matter, and so it's important that I treat others um, as if they have equal value, right? Now, often another problem that people run into on this journey to full adulthood is they get this illusion of authenticity. Authenticity means being my real self, right? The real McCoy, the real thing. It's not phony or fraudulent or deceptive. It's not pretend, right? So the authentic person, if they're not having a good day, if they're not having a fun time at Thanksgiving, they're not going to pretend and go, oh yeah, I'm having a great time. Yeah, thanks for having me. I really like being here. They're going to say, actually, no, I'm really not having a very good time, because, people are acting really inappropriate with me and treating me with disrespect, and I don't like that. So this person who has the illusion of authenticity believes that they have, succeeded in life because they've got a job, they've got a car, and they've got a house maybe, or a family, and, according to most sources, they're good to go. But what they don't realize is that they actually have not yet achieved full maturity. And that's because they have falsely believed that their self is their job or is the role that they're in. This is the person who, when you talk to them, they might say, for example, if I was hanging out with a military buddy, which I used to be in the military, and I would say to them, "What's your name?" And he might say, "Oh, my name is Staff Sergeant Joe Johnson." And I would say to myself, that's not your name. That's your rank in the military and your job title, maybe. And in addition to your name, I just asked for your name. But what he gave me was his role. And that's because he identifies himself as being that staff sergeant. Another example would be if I said, "Hi, what's your name?" And someone said, "My name is Dr. Bob Smith." And I'm like, "No, actually you're Bob Smith, and doctor is a title that you have." If I had asked you for your title, then you would say that, right? So sometimes people have high authority and rank, but in our social system, but they have never yet developed a strong sense of individuality, of who am I outside of a role that I have entered into or that has been given to me by my larger social group. And what happens is this person, in fact, they believe that they have a self. They think they know who they are. But if they were really to get down and think about it, they're exactly like everyone else. Their favorite football team is the football team of their city. Their favorite player is the same favorite player of everyone they work with. The fact that they even like football might be because they're in a culture that says men are supposed to like football or women are supposed to like football too, right? And this is what you can talk to other men about is football. That's what's allowed. And so if a person is dealing with this, it may be because they don't have any other idea who they are. And so if that's you or someone and you believe that it just is a coincidence that you're exactly like everyone else in your life, and maybe you feel kind of weird about it on the inside, chances are it's because there's another you that you have not fully gotten to know yet and developed. And once you do that, you're going to get to start experiencing a more rich, deeper experience of life and aliveness. And you'll also be able to recognize what's not you and what's not okay with you. And that's a prerequisite for being able to create change in the world around you and to be able to just go out there and live heroically. So, long message today, but the take-home point is don't allow yourself to continue being defined by other people, by other cultural policies and institutions, and establish norms that want to tell you who you are, when really all they're saying is what other people might be like. Because when you allow other people to control you and to define you, you become a herd animal, like a sheep in a flock, or a herd of gazelles or cows. They're all exactly the same. They all just follow their leader. Autopilot program, the school of fish swimming around. Which one of them is different from the other? None. You can't tell. They're all basically a replica of one another. And you're not going to be able to experience that high quality of life you're looking for until you can figure out who you are and what you like. What are your favorites? What are your dislikes? So you have to be willing to reflect on what you think and feel, and even if it goes against the grain. That's a big part of life, is learning that sometimes the path to full mature adulthood requires that some people might get pissed off about it, right? It's going to upset some people in your life. All right, thanks a lot, and go out there and have a great week. Godspeed.